All right, it's time now to take a look at data point, of course, specifically the impact of the finance bill to you starting the 1st of July as the bill now to be enacted once it's signed by the president. The impact will be as follows. First, on the housing levy, what has passed is 1.5% of gross pay without a limit. That means that every Kenyan who has a payslip will be charged 1.5% of their gross pay, and then the employer will match the same. But there's something that came from the amendments that employers will be allowed to deduct the housing levy that they contribute in favor of the workers as an allowable expense. So let's take a look at what that means. An allowable expense is that cost that can be deducted from taxable income. This means that if a company has made so much money, before they can declare how much tax they should pay, that is the tax liability, they will be allowed to deduct the cost of financing the housing levy, but up to the contribution they make for the employer. For the employer, you'll have to account for your own in your payslip. And so they'll be allowed to deduct that. And this will be submitted. This money will be remitted on the 9th of August, bearing in mind that this will apply to the salary of July. And if employers don't submit that money, then there's a penalty of about 2% for the period that that money will not have been submitted. Now, there is also new rates that have come in, that is for the pay as you earn, for the persons that earn between 500,000, over 500,000 shillings, for the amount between 500,000 shillings and 799, meaning the 300,000 above 500,000 shillings, that will be charged at 32.5% of tax. Currently, it is charged at 30%. The salary over 800,000 shillings, for instance, if you earn 1 million shillings, anything that is above 800,000 shillings will be charged 35%. So what will be the impact of this on the pay slips of different workers? Let's start with a person who is earning 50,000 shillings at the moment. This is the amount of deductions and the taxes they have to pay. The pay currently is 6,879. The NHIF contribution is that, 1,200. The total deductions, including NSSF, comes to 9,159. But of course, the net pay, the take-home, is 40,841 before they can go ahead and enjoy themselves with their hard-won money. But if now the housing levy, once it's signed by the president, in the July salary, they'll have to deduct 750 shillings, which is 1.5% of the salary of 50,000 shillings, and therefore their net pay will reduce with the same amount to 40,091 shillings. But if you earn 200,000 shillings, this is the impact. Because remember, earlier on in the conversation, there was a limit of 2,500 shillings. Now there's no cap, meaning that at the moment, you take home 145,416. That is hoping that you don't have any SACCO deductions or you don't have any loan that you're paying to a bank or whichever financial institution. And therefore, the housing levy will be 3,000, which is 1.5% of 200,000 shillings, hoping that 200,000 shillings is your gross pay. So at the end of the day, you'll take home 142,416 shillings, which is obviously 3,000 shillings less compared to now. This is assuming that the NHIF rates do not change. Remember, there's a suggestion, there's a proposal to raise them to 2.75%, again, without a limit, meaning the 1,700 shillings would change if that were to become the regulation. Something else, if you earn 1 million shillings, this is what will happen. At the moment, you're taking home 705,000 shillings, 416. But once the housing levy takes effect on the 1st of July, your July salary will come less with 15,000 shillings, which is 1.5% of your 1 million. But also something is happening because the pay has been tinkered with the new bands of 500,000 shillings to 800,000 shillings and the new band of 35% for anything above 800,000 shillings. So your pay will rise from 291,804 to 309,304. That has an impact on your take-home, currently 705,000, but you'll take home 675,000, which is 29,000 shillings less. That will be the impact, again hoping that no change to the NHIF rates. If they change, the NHIF of 2.75% would be 27,500 shillings. So on top of this, then you'd have to deduct nearly 60,000 shillings because of the changes that are coming to effect. Then this is something else that you need to know. The VAT, VAT on fuel has risen from 8% to 16% as passed by the House. The import declaration fee has reduced from 3.5% to 2.5%. It obviously affects the cost of fuel. The railway development levy has been reduced from 2.5% to 1.5%. So what would be the impact? Of course, those rates are different. They apply differently. And these calculations are made by EPRA, that is responsible for determining the oil prices in the country. But based on our estimated calculations and based on the latest figures from EPRA as of May 14th, these are the prices. For litre of petrol, 182 shillings. If you had to effect the changes to VAT, to RDL and IDF, then a litre of petrol would go up by about 11 shillings to hit 193 shillings 74 cents. For diesel, all factors constant, then this would change to 177 shillings 97 cents. Kerosene, again, would rise to 171.73 cents. On average, it's about 10 shillings per product per litre. Then the government will be gaining because after all these collections, the Finance Bill 2023 is said that according to the chairperson of the Finance and Planning Committee, Kuria Kimani, that they are collecting 311 billion shillings based on those amendments that were passed by the National Assembly yesterday. The Housing Levy will bring on board some 73 billion shillings. Remember earlier on, they were hoping to collect 9 billion shillings every month. This has gone down because of the changes to about 6 billion shillings a month, in total 73 billion. The VAT on fuel, because it's going up starting when April will announce, but of course the act becomes effective 1st of July, should it be signed before then you'll see that 51 billion shillings is what they will gain through the changes in VAT on fuel. And that is just a summary of the impact that will befall you starting next month. And that is Data Point tonight.